Welcome to the Green Hat Local SEO Podcast, where Kyle Sabra delivers hard-hitting, actionable tips and strategies to help business owners dominate their local market and crush the competition. Kyle's no-holds-barred approach cuts through the noise of traditional SEO, focusing on battle-tested tactics that deliver real results. He's here to arm you with the tools you need to skyrocket your rankings, generate more leads, and grow your business online. If you're tired of hearing the same old SEO nonsense and want to learn the truth, this is the podcast for you. Get ready to put on your green hats and learn SEO secrets the other guys can't handle. Now, here's your host, Kyle Sabra.
Hi, this is Kyle Sabra from the Green Hat Local SEO Podcast, and in this episode, we're going to go over something that people worry about way too fucking much, and that is indexing their backlinks. And I know I talk about indexing a lot on this podcast, and that's because that this is still a real issue for a lot of people. And this isn't like the good old days of Google to where they would index like whatever bullshit that you put in front of them. Back then, it was really easy to spam with low-quality pages. You could literally put just spun text on there, put the keyword in your title, in your H1, and put an affiliate link, and then you're off and running to making some affiliate commissions. And now, you can't do that anymore. So indexing is a real issue. I talk about it a lot, but in this specific instance, I'm telling you, you really don't need to worry about indexing for your backlinks. And this is brought up with a video that I recently made for a new link building provider, link building software called G-Site Genie that my buddy George Johnson created, and maybe I'll have him on the podcast later. But the issue is that we got a comment on there saying, are these indexed? I'm not seeing them indexed for white hat bullshit. And this is something that is a real problem in the white hat community, in that they feel that unless a link is indexable and unless it's gotten in with outreach or naturally or whatever, then it's not worth getting, it's not worth using, and it's potentially black hat. I'm here to tell you that that is absolute bullshit. Your links do not need to be indexed for them to work, and I prove this every single day when we work with clients. So what is indexing? If you listen to my other podcasts, I go over this, or my other episodes, I go over this a lot, but for people who are just now tuning in, indexing means literally Google has discovered your page. It has crawled it, it has rendered it, and it feels it is high quality enough to go in the index, which means that other people, people doing searches can see that, and they would see it as a result for their query. So not every page now gets indexed. Google does decline to index a lot of pages, and these pages could be declined because they're duplicate content. They could be declined because they are on domains to where the main topic is too far away from the topic they're writing about. For example, we see this a lot with local SEO, to where somebody will try to rank for the keyword closet organizer, and also try to rank for the keyword carpet installation, for example. Or Google may just decline to index it because it considers it low quality. Right? And you see this a lot with just AI-generated slop, with spun pages, with thin content that's, like 300, 400 words long, with pages that are just images. Sometimes I see that too if you're, for example, showing off your portfolio of artwork or whatever projects you've completed. Those oftentimes get declined to be indexed. And you can see this in Search Console by looking at pages that are what's called a soft 404, which means they're not exactly 404, but Google thinks that maybe you publish it on accident because the content is so shitty. Or you can see pages that are labeled as crawled, not indexed, which means Google crawled them, said fuck this, and did not index it. And if you see these on your own site and you see these pages that you want to be indexed, well, then you'll have a problem. Or if you see them on your site on pages that you don't really care about them indexing, it's still a problem because Google thinks there's a low quality. And if Google thinks that too many of your pages are low quality, Google thinks your site is low quality, and then your entire site suffers. But this doesn't matter for your backlinks. Because what happens is when Google indexes, or when Google crawls pages, Google knows that those pages are there. That still goes in their database. And Google knows that if they go back to this page and this page, the content changes, then it'll be worthy of being indexed. The same thing goes for these backlinks that you're building that aren't necessarily indexed. Google knows that they're there. It knows the content on the page. And if it ever comes back to that page to recrawl it, then and the content is changed, that knows that it's worthy of being indexed. But see, the key here is that Google knows the page is there, which means it knows the HTML is there, which means it knows the links are there, and it is still in its database, just not in the index. So these links go what's called the link graph. And you've heard us talk about knowledge graphs before. A subset of the knowledge graph is the link graph. And in this link graph, Google has a record of every single link it can find on the internet, whether it's an internal link or an external link. And that means that Google knows that even if this page is not indexed, then that link is still going to your site and you are still going to get credit for it. Now, whether or not it's a lot of juice is an entirely separate thing, but you still get credit for that link as long as it's not set to no index. Even if it's set to no follow, which is a valuable link still, you are going to get credit for it. So even if the site is not being indexed, if the page is not being indexed, you are still getting credit for that link because Google has it in its link graph. Now, yes, these links probably aren't worth a whole lot. People tend to think of links as on a binary from 0 to 1. Either they work or they don't work. But really, SEO as a whole doesn't even work like that. Everything works. It just matters how much does it work. Really, you got to think in terms of not 0 or 1, but does this work like 0.5? Does it give 50% the power of a high quality link from, say, like a do follow link from CNN.com or something gives you? Or does it work at like 0.1? Like, is it 10% of the power a high powered link would give you? Now, these links that aren't getting indexed a lot of times are going to be from software like SEO Neo or RankerX or GSA, or any of the myriad other link building software out there. Again, it does not mean that these are bad or they're not valuable. They still are. It just means that you need a lot of them to get the power that one, for example, DR90 contextual link from a relevant page going to your site is. But that's why this software works. That's why SEO Neo works so well, because you're getting, hundreds of links, hundreds of referring domains at one time to your site. And yes, maybe all the links there is a 0.001, or maybe it's a 0.1, but you add in 10 of those, 50, 100 of those, and all of a sudden these all add up and these all start pointing a lot of link power to your site. It doesn't matter if they're indexed or not. And again, we see this improve this literally every single day by getting improvements in rankings just by using SEO Neo, which does not get indexed at all. Well, it's a low indexing rate. Some of our properties, actually a lot of our properties get indexed. Some properties even rank on page 1 for the targeted keywords, but I digress. Now, what a lot of people really worry about is, if they're not getting indexed, that means this content isn't worthy being indexed, which means it's low quality, which means I'm having low quality links pointing over to my site. And that could not be farther from the truth. Yes, you have low quality content pointing to your site, but Google is not penalizing you for that content. Google is giving you Google is giving you credit for that link. It is giving you some amount of link juice and some amount of page rank, just not as much as it would give you if it was a page with relevant, high-quality content from a highly trusted site. This isn't a negative going to your page because it's a link that is not indexed. It just is not as powerful as, again, something, for example, if you were to get a do follow link from, like, for example, like if you are writing about local events, like a do follow link from like the LA Times or something would pass a lot more juice that by itself rather than 100 SEO Neo links. But SEO Neo links by themselves are not a net negative on your rankings, right? And this is what a lot of people don't understand because of all the white hat bullshit out there. All these, dumb fucking white hats who don't do their own research and just parrot whatever John Mueller says. They don't realize that guys like me are beating them out cheaper by using links that are not indexed because we're taking advantage of things like SEO Neo. or G-Site Genie or Staxio or something like that. Now, there is a point to where links can hurt you, but just because they are non-indexed doesn't mean that they are going to hurt you. It's a lot harder to do black hat SEO with link building now. There's very specific ways you have to do it. It's not like it used to be to where you can fire up GSA, get a million links with the keyword Viagra, with anchor text Viagra, and shoot them over to your site and see the site drop. It's not nearly that easy anymore, but at the same time, these links are still valuable and they're still worth doing. Even if you're not using GSA as a negative signal, you still can use GSA links that don't really index for your tier 3 or tier 4 links. You can use SEO Neo links, which again, a lot of them don't index for a lot of people. You can use those as your tier 1 links. Now, the difference is does Google even know these links exist? And unless you specifically get them crawled, Google most likely will not find them because these sites suck so bad. Google doesn't crawl them as much as we would like them to. And because so many links are being created on the site every single day, Google probably won't see these links for, could be months and months. So this is another place where a lot of people start thinking, oh, if it's not indexed and it's not worth anything, all these white hats, blah, 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 blah. So the thing that we do is we get them crawled. We don't give a shit if they're indexed. We don't spend 10 cents on a link like with Omega Indexer or 5 cents on a link with like Speed Indexer, whatever it's called. All you need to do is get that thing crawled. So you can put it into a public Google sheet, make that sheet public, and then just get that one sheet indexed with Omega Indexer. Google, if you put all your links into column A, Google will go 8,000 rows down reading what's in that sheet. And when it does that, it's going to crawl those links and get those links into its link graph. Or you can do what we do and just feed them into a software called CodeLinkery and skip that step. And then CodeLinkery will actually call Googlebot over to crawl the links. Again, we don't care if they're indexed. We just want Google to crawl the links and get into its link database so Google knows that they're there. And then 4 to 6 weeks later, because Google instituted anti-SEO measures on backlinking years ago, 4 to 6 weeks later, you're going to see improvements in your ranking if you've done this correctly. Again, this is another reason why people think that non-indexable links are worth nothing, because they don't provide immediate results like they used to. Used to be you could build links and you would see ranking increases in a week, just like with on-page changes. But now Google's gotten really good with their anti-SEO measures. And even on-page changes, on-page SEO takes at least 2 weeks to kick in. And off-page SEO, such as citations, backlinks, cloud stacks, whatever the fuck you want to call them, those could take 4 to 6 weeks to see the bumps in those links. So just because these pages are not indexable does not mean these links are worthless. These links are still valuable. And again, guys like me and George Johnson who developed G-Site Genie are ranking with these every single fucking day. We're ranking with pages that aren't getting indexed but still have links over to our client sites because we know what we're doing and we don't follow all the white hat fear, uncertainty, and doubt because we're actually good at our jobs. Not like a lot of these clowns who just, again, follow whatever the fuck Neil Patel or John Mueller or whatever fucking white hats tell them to do, fucking Joy Hawkins and Marie Haynes and bullshit like that. So use non-indexable pages to get links, use SEO Neo, use G-Site Genie, use whatever it takes to get ranked because really at the end of the day, all that matters is making money. So again, my name is Kyle Sabra from Green Hat Local SEO. For more information on this, or if you just don't want to bother with it yourself, you want somebody else to handle your SEO, go to GHLS.io. We have a free until you rank SEO program to where you don't pay a dime until we get you ranked. And this works for anybody who has a GBP and a physical location. So contact us at GHLS.io. Again, my name is Kyle Sabra. I will talk to you later.